My name is Anela. I'm a GIS analyst at the Sustainable Development Solutions Network on the SDGs Day program. I'll be presenting on our project, My School Today. And I know that's a lot of layers of different things that I've identified, so I'll go through them one by one. Okay, so the UN SDSN was launched under the auspices of the UN Secretary General in 2012. Our focus is on the Sustainable Development Goals and the Paris Agreement on climate change. It's currently led by Dr. Jeffrey Sachs. And the program SDGs Today that I am a part of is the geospatial arm of the SDSN. So for those of you who don't know about the SDGs, there are 17 of them. They were implemented in 2015, and the goal is to have all of them met by 2030. So this year is a very important year because it marks the midpoint of the SDGs. For every SDG, as you can see, they span a variety of topics from poverty to health and well-being, clean water and sanitation, so on and so forth. For every SDG, there's a set of indicators that are used to calculate and monitor the progress towards them. And I'd like to also emphasize that the SDGs are not just a framework for countries to implement, but it's for people, for businesses, for local governments, policymakers. I was doing an Instagram scroll a few months ago, and I saw that the restaurant down the street from my house, for context, I live in Brooklyn, posted about how their business plan is implementing the SDGs. And I thought that was pretty cool, and they have a lot of my business now. So as I mentioned, SDGs Today is the geospatial arm of SDSN. It was launched in partnership with Esri and the National Geographic Society in July of 2020. And our goal is to advance and cultivate the use of timely geospatial data for the SDGs. As I've mentioned, it's the midway point. It's very important for us to use open and timely data to monitor the SDGs. So we do this with 3 different work streams. The first is our data curation and production work stream, which is the bulk of my work. We have a data hub of over 50 timely data sets that we've curated over the past couple of years. They have to meet all 8 of these criteria that we set out, including things like, of course, how timely it is, has to be updated at least annually, how open it is, if it's a global data set or not, and things like that. We also have a storytelling work stream where we have curated, I think, over 100 story maps related to the SDGs. So these story maps just give context to different data sets, data projects, use cases. They can serve as training materials related to the SDGs. So a lot of the times, if a data set doesn't meet our criteria to be added to our data platform, we'll contact the data provider and collaborate on a story map so that we can still get the word out there about their work and the research that they're doing. We also have an education and capacity building work stream. And this spans a lot of different things. For example, this summer, we're having our 3rd annual Eco Ambassadors Summer Program, which is a program for middle and high school students to learn how to use geospatial data for the SDGs. We've also, as I mentioned, we have some story maps that we've created in collaboration with Esri, teaching people specific things about how to use ArcGIS and geospatial data. And so the project that I'm now presenting basically cross-cuts all of these priorities. It is called My School Today. We created a model that calculates the walking travel time of school-aged populations to school locations recorded in OpenStreetMap. So you can see right now it spans just Africa. we're working on expanding this analysis globally and across other SDG indicators, which I'll mention again at the end of the presentation. And we visualize these data on a dashboard. This is just a screenshot of it. Just a plug for my workshop on Sunday, if anyone is still around. I'll be going through a dashboard, how we made it, the ways that you can interact with it, and so on. But if you won't be attending that, you can find it on our website, which I'll have linked at the end. This is the basic methodology. We extract the features from OpenStreetMap, and we create isochrone rasters that show between 0 and 30 minutes walking travel time from school locations and school age populations, between 30 and 60 minutes and over 60 minutes. From those isochrones, we then, we also have disaggregated age and sex population distributions from WorldPop. So from those two data sets, we do some zonal statistics, and for administrative level 1 boundaries, we estimate how many students within those boundaries have access to schools segregated by those minutes. So there are a few reasons why we decided to use OpenStreetMap. The first is that through our data curation workstream, we've seen that it's actually pretty hard to find timely data that's global or at least regional, especially pertaining to the SDGs. And we like that it is continually updated by community members. And we also just want to give the power of data to the local communities, especially if this data set is going to inform local policies and things like that. We want to make sure that the people have a voice in this process. So through this, we have also launched a call to action when we also launched the data set. And we have developed a few mapping guides in different languages to teach people how to actually map their schools in OpenStreetMap. So we have the guide for OpenStreetMap, and we also have a guide for mapping schools using Survey 123, which we then import into OpenStreetMap. And if anyone wants to look at the guides, I'll give you a couple minutes to go through these QR codes and decide which language you'd like to map in. And I also just want to highlight that this has been an ongoing effort for the past 2 years. We've received a lot of feedback from people in country about how they're really excited to learn how to do this data analysis and data collection. We recently got these photos from a school in Uganda where they printed out their mapping guides and handed it to students, and these students had a great field day mapping schools and things like that. We always show this person because he jokes that he wants to be an influencer through this process. So he really enjoyed mapping around his community or bike riding around his community and mapping the schools within, he says, 10 kilometers. And that was about a year ago. So I wonder how much he has done since then. But overall, since our launch in 2021, we have tracked the addition of over 89,000 school buildings to OpenStreetMap throughout Africa. Of course, we don't have a way right now to know if it's through our initiative or if it's just the natural progression of the addition of school locations on the platform. But either way, I think that's a pretty big feat. I updated this number this morning and I was very impressed. I think before this, Last year, it was around 4,000 new school buildings. And so that's a pretty big jump since then. We've also secured 18 strategic collaborations. So these are collaborations with people who work in country who have worked through distributing our training materials and helping people in country map their schools. I also wanted to mention that we are launching a new project in September with Humanitarian OpenStreetMap and HiGet to continue filling in these data gaps and monitoring SDG indicators with OSM data. So we've gone through all of the SDGs and all of their indicators, identified which ones can be monitored using OpenStreetMap data and a similar analysis to the My School Today analysis. And we are going to launch that project in a few months. So that's very exciting. This is basically the same thing. We're still seeking partnerships. So if anyone wants to get involved with that project, feel free to talk to me afterwards. And that's it. So these are our website, our handles, follow us, and well, thank you.